YouTube is live. We are live. Everybody's here. Good afternoon, everybody. It is me, Rex Sikowski. Thank you. Sorry, 6 minutes late, and sorry for the delay. I know we were supposed to go on yesterday. I had to get another little eye procedure done, but boy, am I feeling great after the doctor laser beamed me in the eye. I feel good. I see the questions are flowing in. Good questions, great questions. And let me just fix that so I'm looking at you. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to dive right in as usual. As always, folks, post your questions, post your comments. If you have any questions, call me, 212-406-8989. If you don't want to talk about it in the general population here, I am always free to chat, 212-406-8989. Today, we're going to talk about a hot topic. Don't we always do hot topics? Insurance companies. Is the workers' compensation insurance adjuster on your side? So this is always a big question we get about how the insurance companies, how they treat you at different stages throughout your case. We always get a ton of questions, and it's really, from my perspective, when I'm here and my clients come in and talking about their cases, it's actually, I don't want to say it's funny, but it's very interesting to watch how that progression changes over time. How, oh my God, she was so nice to me when I first got hurt, and now she's being, I can't even get, car service to and from the doctor's office. Like, they used to provide it, now they give me a hard time. It's interesting when people see what I try to explain in a forum like this or to a client. There are so many clients or prospective clients that say, well, the insurance company is being so nice to me. She said I don't really need an attorney, so I'm going to stick it out. And if there's a problem, I'll call you. The problem is, when that problem happens, you got to come back and see me, sign a retainer, send it to the court, wait for the court to put me on notice in your case. Hopefully I can make some things happen with some phone calls in the meantime. But now we're scrambling to fix a problem, whereas before I was just a phone call away. So, that they're not your friend. They might be very nice people. There's some insurance adjusters and nurse case managers that I've worked with over the years that are fantastic people. There are some really great ones out there. There are ones that really care. There are ones that really want to help. There are also ones that are there to do their job for their insurance company and nothing more. And you got to prepare for the worst and hope you get a good one. You got to prepare to deal with the toughies and hope you get a sweetie. And that's really what it comes down to. Ultimately, they are doing their job for an insurance company and not for you. And you got to keep that in mind, as nice as somebody might be to you on the phone or how they're dealing with your case. So, is the workers' comp insurance adjuster on your side? And if not, why are they so damn polite? Why are they polite to you? We see this in the early stages of a case, and it's almost like the worse, the more significant or severe the accident injuries, the nicer they are to the person. Why? They want to build trust and rapport. They want to build that trust that you're there, that they're there for you. They're there to help you. They almost try to take the place of your attorney. You don't need a lawyer. You have me. You could trust me. I'm going to give you everything you need and want, and you're not going to have a problem. And we're going to take extra special good care of you because I really like you, and you should really trust me. And they want to build that rapport. That's a rapport that you should have with your doctor. That's a rapport that you should have with your lawyer. It's not a rapport you should have with the insurance company adjuster. Pardon, water time. Why do they do that? They want to get you to let your guard down. They want to be able to slide in that you don't need a lawyer. They want to get you to share information that might be harmful to you in your case. They might want to get you to spill the beans on something that they could use against you. I'm not saying that you're lying, and I'm not saying that you're hiding the truth, but it's almost like, anything you say can and will be used against you. That's not really that far from the truth. So you got to be very careful. Oftentimes, and I've heard it 100 times, they want to make you think that you don't need a lawyer. I explained this a couple of weeks ago, and I apologize for missing last week. We had childcare. I had to get home and take care of the baby. But a few weeks ago, I mentioned the story. I bumped into a gentleman who is a UPS guy, and it's not a retired UPS guy who's posting questions here right now. I'm going to get to those questions in a minute. I was at Costco, and the checkout guy used to work at UPS, and he was telling me how he had an accident, and the adjuster was giving him the whole song and dance about how he doesn't need a lawyer, and he never got a lawyer, and he missed out on getting a nice schedule loss award on his case because he had a pretty bad ankle injury. They're not there for you. They're there for them. So talk to a lawyer. They're going to make you think you don't need one, but talk to a lawyer. We're not all terrible people. The other thing, they build that trust and rapport and get you to feel comfortable with them so that they can sometimes lowball you. Um, you know, it doesn't happen often. I'd say it probably happens 2 or 3 times, 4 times a year, where we'll get a client that comes in, an unrepresented client, and they'll say, I've been handling this case on my own. It was a broken ankle or a shoulder surgery, a bad but not extreme type of injury, and it's usually an extremity injury. It's usually an arm or a leg or something like that. But it does happen from time to time where a person like that comes in and they say, I have this case that's about a year or two old, and I got all my treatment, and they gave me a hard time with getting the MRI I needed up front. But once I got that, it turns out I needed surgery. I got my surgery. Yeah, they kind of didn't give me all the PT I wanted, physical therapy. But when I'm at the end of my case, and they offered me $15,000 or $20,000 or whatever it is, and they come to see me and they say, how does that sound to you? Is that a fair offer? And I sit down and I look at the case and I say, it's a fair offer if you have a 5% schedule loss of use of your foot. It's a fair offer, but you just had surgery. Let's take a look at the guidelines. Let's take a look at your medical records. Maybe your doctor's already assessed you for permanent disability. And then we start figuring out, well, we could probably do better. And there have been times, and like I said, it happens a couple times a year, where I get on the phone and it's 2 phone calls of, you offered them 15 grand, but this case is easily worth 25 grand. And a few phone calls later, boom, we just come close to or double the person's money. I know that I have a review floating around somewhere. It might be on Google, of a client who came in, and in 2 phone calls, we doubled her money. And I know it sounds like, well, you didn't have to do much and you don't deserve your fee, but she was thrilled to give us our fee because we doubled her money in 2 phone calls, and she was going to get shafted if we didn't get involved. So why do they build that trust and rapport and they make you comfortable and happy with them? It's because they might want to lowball you on a settlement, and it does happen. Make no mistake, their number one priority is to save their company money. A lot of insurance companies pay based upon this. It's their job. They work for the insurance company. They don't work for you, and they're not there to help you. They're there to save the insurance company's money. I always say the insurance company is a business like any other business, and their goal is to take in more money than they pay out. That's how they make money. So that's how it works. If they could save themselves $1, they're going to save themselves $1. If they could save 10, they're going to save 10 in the same process. So be very careful. I see some great questions coming up. All right, I'm going to hit a couple more slides and then I'm going to jump into questions. What sort of things are safe to discuss with your insurance comp adjuster over the phone, or, well, usually it's over the phone? And what sort of things should you never say to them? So what's safe to discuss with them? I mean, listen, the broad answer to that question is nothing. Let your lawyer do the talking. That's really what, hire a lawyer, let your lawyer do the talking. I tell my clients when they come in, if they've been in contact with the adjuster in the past, from this point forward, tell them, please call my lawyer. Tell them, I'm trying to heal and get better and get back to work. Please call my lawyer and let us handle those questions and those problems. You don't have to even burden yourself with those things. Give us the information and let us deal with the insurance company. That's what we're here for. But listen, it does happen. People they speak with insurance companies. People do represent themselves on their own cases, and you're free to do that, as obviously. And so let's discuss what things can you are somewhat safe to discuss with the insurance company attorney. The basic facts surrounding the accident. What happened? What time was it? Where were you? What was the address? What body parts did you hurt? Who did you report the accident to? The basic facts. Don't run away with your answers. If they ask you, what body parts did you hurt? If it's your left ankle, it's your left ankle. If it's your back, it's your back. If you don't have to sit there and tell them that every time I go to the bathroom and sit down and I feel a shooting pain and it hurts, and don't volunteer too much information. Tell them what hurts. That's what they're asking you. Tell them what happened. That's what they're asking you. Don't run away with your answers. It's always bad when I see people get wound up and run away with their answers. You're not a wind-up toy. Just answer the question and wait. Medical information. Who is your doctor? Where did you go for emergency treatment following your accident? Did the ambulance take you? Sorry, I keep bashing the microphone. Things like that, all okay to give. Just keep it basic. Work status. Are you working? Are you not working? Are you working light duty? Upcoming medical appointments. Those are all okay things to have brief discussions with. As long, again, it's always best to have a lawyer and let the lawyer do the talking, but those types of things, just keep it brief, factual, and to the point. What sort of things should you never talk to the insurance company about? Admissions of fault. Workers' comp is a no fault system. It doesn't matter, but it opens the door to a lot of other issues that could negatively impact you in your case. So you don't have to say that it was my fault that I didn't put the guard back on the saw. Let's just leave it alone and talk to your lawyer about those things. Don't exaggerate or downplay injuries because they're both going to be used to hurt you. Um, Exaggerating your injuries, symptom magnification, the doctors call it. Malingering is another term that's used. The doctors see through it. Your medical evidence shows the extent of your injuries. If you have a minor sprained ankle and you're walking on crutches for 6 months and the MRI doesn't show it and there's no other, no, the medical evidence is pretty clear. Malingering, faking it, exaggerating, it doesn't help. It hurts. And the same goes for downplaying. you know a lot of people, we've got some tough clients out there. We have clients and we've had these discussions, construction workers and concrete workers, guys that if they tell me if they would have filed a claim every time they got hurt, they'd have a claim filed every 2 a week between significant lacerations and bumps and bruises and things like that, and they stick it out and they duct tape themselves back together and go back to work because they got to feed their kids, and I respect that. But when it's time to talk to the insurance company and talk to the doctors, just keep it real. Don't over exaggerate or downplay your injuries. What other things you need to be careful about when you're speaking with insurance companies? Prior injuries, accidents, and claims. You need to disclose these things, but you need to be very careful when you do it and how you do it. And that's why having an attorney is important. These are facts that need to be known by all parties, and you want to do everything you can to reduce the negative impact on you and your case. Okay. Other things that you shouldn't really talk about: activities outside of work. Sports are the big one, and hobbies. We had a client, and they were grilling this guy on fraud issues. He made a pretty simple factual mistake at trial about his return to work status. He said he had not returned to work when he had, and he assumed that they already knew that because it was in the documentation. He thought they meant if he returned to work for another employer. The facts got mixed up, and it snowballed into a huge issue. It turned into fraud. But what I'm saying here is activities outside of work. This gentleman played professional baseball in his younger days, and this insurance company dug and grasped at every straw they could to try to uncover what injuries did you possibly suffer that could have an impact on these injuries in this case while you were a young guy playing baseball. You must have gotten hit in the head at least once with a baseball. You must have broken a bone. You must have strained some. Truth be told, this guy had no past significant medical history. He was one of the few healthy baseball players out there who never had any real significant injuries, but they swore up and down because somewhere it popped up that he played baseball when he was in his 20s, that he must have had a prior accident or injury, and they try to use those things against you. I see a lot of people flowing in here on Instagram. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. What other things do you not want to discuss? Settlement offers. If the insurance company makes a settlement offer to you, thank you. I will consider it, and that's it. But that's when you really want a lawyer. You really want somebody who's going to tell you where the value is. People think value exists in places where it doesn't, and value exists in places where people don't think that it exists. And it's application of the law. It's as simple as that. And unless you sat down and doing a basic Google search with AI is not enough. You need to really know where the money is and where it's not in your workers' compensation case. What are some dirty tricks the adjuster might use to hurt you and hurt your workers' compensation case? They might ask for a recorded statement or a written statement. And again, this oftentimes comes when you don't have an attorney. We've had huge cases. I mean, we had a guy fall off a roof, actually 2 roof falls, where The adjuster sent somebody to the hospital to get a written statement from the client before they were represented, because before they're represented, they can do that. Once they're represented, they got to go through the attorney. So they try to jump the gun and get in there. It's a big case. Get as much information that we might possibly be able to use to mitigate, to lessen, reduce the exposure, how much money we have to pay out in this case. Get in there and get it now and get as much as possible before this guy lawyers up, because then we're going to have to go through the lawyer to get information, and it's going to be harder to reduce the value of that case. So they get recorded statements. They visit people in the hospital. They get written statements. We've had adjusters send investigators to clients' family to get statements about maybe they were drunk that day. Maybe it's crazy that the things that they do. They'll go through your social media. If your stuff is public, they're going to go through it, and they might use it to show facts about the accident itself, your level of disability as time goes on, things that you may or may not be capable of doing. Social media might show otherwise. So they can and they will and they have done it on a lot of different cases. They're going to take your words out of context. They're going to try to twist the words that you say when you're testifying, or if you've given a statement already, or show discrepancies between prior statements and statements that you make in court. They use those. That's the name of the game. That's how things work. They try to encourage you to go back to work earlier than you should by reducing benefits. They'll use the IME doctor's report to try to push you back to work sooner. Hey, look, we see this all the time where an employer, it's usually a union job type of thing, but the employer will send a letter and the client will bring us a letter. Hey, dear Joe, we miss you at work. It's been terrible without you. You're the greatest guy ever. But we got a letter from the doctor saying that you're able to come back to work light duty and you can work in a modified capacity. We're going to accommodate you. So give me a call. Let me know when you're able to come back. Have a nice day. Your boss. And what they don't mention is that medical report that says that you can work in a modified capacity is the insurance doctor's medical report, not your doctor's. So it's a trick. Make sure you talk to your doctor and your lawyer about it so you don't make the wrong move. They try to, when it comes to evaluating settlements, I've seen them miscalculate. When it comes to average weekly wage calculations, another big big aspect of your case in determining the value and what the amount of your benefits are. Average weekly wage. I've seen miscalculations on the documents that are submitted. We've actually raised fraud on a few. So you need to be careful. You need to know how to read these documents, calculate things properly, so you're not being taken advantage of. Another thing a lot of insurance companies will do, especially when you're not represented. Sorry, I'm dry and I'm itchy. They might make you think that the first offer is the only offer, you can leave it. And while, yes, sometimes it might be a take it or leave it type of thing, if you don't know what the value of your case should be, they might try to back you into a corner, pressure you, and you jump and you take the offer because you're afraid you might get nothing. And in reality, your case might be worth a significant amount more. So you need to be very, very careful there. And it's why you really should have a lawyer. I mean, listen, what am I doing here, folks? I'm here to help everybody, and I've gotten some great questions, and I try to do everything I can to help. But I'm an attorney, and I'm here to help. That's my job, and we're here for a reason. We're here to help you and try to get you the benefits, maximize the amount of benefits that you're entitled to, and I make a living doing it. Yes, I get paid for it, and in addition to the satisfaction I get from helping people, because I really do enjoy it. Yes, I'm fortunate enough to make a living doing it. How can you protect yourself from insurance company adjusters and insurance companies when you have an active workers' compensation case? Number one, document everything. Document everything. We give out folders. We give out tote bags. And I tell listen, everyone has their own filing system. And I can't even begin to tell you how many people use the personal filing system of the I Love New York plastic bag. They keep a plastic bag, and whatever documents are related to their case get dumped in the bag. And you know something? I have no problem with that. We give a nice one of those tote shopping bag deals to our clients just for that purpose. Throw all your comp paperwork into this bag, and this way you know it's all there. And if you have a question or you come to my office, bring the bag, bring the whole bag. I'll go through it. I go through people's paperwork. They dump it on my desk, and while we're talking, I go through. They open envelopes. They hand me papers. I put them in order. I figure out what's important, what we need to keep on top, what's just there for informational purposes, and we go through their paperwork all the time. Keep documentation. Keep on top of it. You guys know I'm a big notepad guy. Throw a notepad right on top, and if something is an issue or problem or rubs you the wrong way, put a note, put the date, talk to your lawyer about it. Limit your communication with anybody but your doctor and your lawyer. It's very important. Be careful. People go back to work. People have big mouths. People talk to coworkers and bosses and supervisors and start talking all this sorts of crap, which could only get them and other people in trouble. You need to be very careful. You have a pending legal matter oftentimes on your hand. Don't have a big mouth. Don't tell people how much money you're going to get or what your lawyer said or how certain things are going to happen. Whether it's true or not, keep your mouth shut. It's better off. Just put your head down, get through your day. You don't need to get into that sort of thing because it serves no purpose. Most importantly, like I've been saying the whole time, get a lawyer. And if you need a lawyer and you don't have one, you can call me. You know who I am, Rex Sikowski, 212-406-8989. I have gone through my slides. I'm very happy to have finished. Let's go and hit up some questions. Jay Leah has been patiently waiting for a track to explode on. What do you got for me? She says hi to Sai. There's her question right there. Well, here you go. Thank you for doing the videos. It's very helpful. You're very welcome. Thank you for joining. I have a question, please. I fell at work and went direct to the DF back on December 2nd. They said pull muscles. I'm going to assume DF is DR. So you fell at work, you pulled some muscles in your back on December 2nd. They say pull muscles. I'm getting confused. All right, Jay Leah, there's a lot of questions. 6 weeks later, there you go. She said 6 weeks later down here. 6 weeks later, and the 4. All right, I'm getting confused. Do me a favor, call me. I'd love to speak to you. 212-406-8989. But your question is, do I need a lawyer? You need to let this lawyer understand what your question is so I can help you determine if you need a lawyer. Call me. 212-406-8989. I see it's 4:58. I know we got a late start today. We had some meetings that we had to address. Call me tomorrow. Let the staff know, whoever answers the phone, that you're Jay Leah. Jay Leah is calling tomorrow. Put her on the phone with me, please. They are climbing over each other to come and respond to me. Give me a call tomorrow. I'll answer your questions. We'll go through everything. Here he is, retired UPS guy. Hello, Ricks. I have multiple injuries, but the doctor wants to handle the most major one at this time. Is that normal? Yeah. I mean, it really depends on what the injuries are, but it doesn't sound unreasonable. I splashed. And it's not unreasonable. Listen, I'm not a doctor, so I certainly can't answer from a medical perspective. I can tell you this. I know people that have needed bilateral, both knees replaced, bilateral total knee replacement. I know some people that do one and get better and then do the other. And I have friends who went and did both at the same time. And they said, screw it. If I'm going to be miserable, I'm going to be as miserable as possible once and not twice. So it depends on the injuries. It's certainly something to talk to your doctor about, weigh your options, see if maybe you could tackle everything in one shot. Maybe you do need to stick it out and handle one injury at a time. Good luck to you. Retired UPS guy. I love the UPS. What can Brown do for you? Stevie D. Hey, Rex. My lawyer says I should wait for MMI and won't initiate settlement discussions. Lumbar spine surgery, been on workers' comp since 11 of 2023, terminated a year later, as per New York State civil service law, approved for SSDI January of 2025. Also have a third-party lawsuit. Is this a correct course of action? All three lawyers work at the same firm. Wowza. Jay Leah, Steve D was as succinct as I've seen that, and I even read it eloquently. That was a good question. I'm sorry. I'm breaking your chops. I apologize. Sometimes yes and sometimes no. Your question is, should you start settling the workers' comp before MMI? The problem here is, I think your lawyer would be a little looser with when to start settlement discussions if you didn't have a third party case. The third party lawsuit wants to make sure you've gotten all the medical treatment that you can get, because that goes to your pain and suffering and things like that. Comp, those things don't matter. So sometimes it's a little better to try to settle the case just short of a finality or an end point, because there's a little meat on the bone. Maybe there's still some treatment left that you could get that you're willing to give up in favor of settling your case. So there's those two cases sometimes butt heads. You need to figure out with your lawyers what's the best thing to do for you in your circumstance based upon the facts of your case. Sometimes it's better to settle your comp first. Sometimes it's better to settle the third party first. Sometimes you want to get ahead of the game and settle the comp before the MMI. Sometimes the third party attorney in that case is waiting for that MMI evaluation and conclusion so they could use it to your advantage in your third party case. It's probably what's happening here. Speak to your attorneys. If you have three attorneys at the same firm, they're a big enough firm that they could all take the time to sit down with you in a conference room, give you a cup of coffee, and walk through your case and explain everything. Good question, though, Steve. Miss B, hey, Rex. Happy to see you're feeling better. I'm happy to be feeling better. I called you, but your worker said you couldn't help me because you didn't work or no one in my state. I did call you as suggested. What state are you in, Ms. B? I'm only licensed. I only do workers' compensation here in New York. As I've stated, we do have a network of friends throughout the country that we work with in different states. We don't have an attorney in every state, but we try to help everyone we can. I don't know what state you're in, Ms. B. I don't. If you could post it further down. But yeah, when we do get calls from out of state clients, we do try to, wow, the questions just exploded. We do try to get to everybody and get them where they need to be. So call me, let me know. Chaz Blackwell, I got hurt 8 years ago, just had surgery less than a year ago, had a PHSC hearing, and my lawyer and insurance people couldn't agree on anything, and they're saying I didn't get hurt at work. What is a compromise and release? So this is sounding like a non-New York State claim. I don't know what a PHSC hearing is, and a compromise release sounds like a general release. Sounds like an agreement. I don't know the answer. Oh, I'm sorry. Those are two different questions. You both have purple avatar symbols, so I got you confused. Chaz, I don't know, but it certainly sounds like an out of New York State. There's Chaz's question. An out of New York State type of claim. I would speak to your lawyer. Speak to your lawyer. Jay Leah, who's super nice? Did you call my staff? Did she call me? Call me tomorrow. We'll help you out tomorrow. Frederick, can you sue my company? You could for wrongful termination or retaliation after my workers' comp is over. So, I mean, the answer that I always give, but you could sue anybody you want. You might not win, but you could sue them. I don't know. We need to know what the facts of your wrongful termination are. I don't handle those here. You want to speak with an employment attorney, a labor and employment attorney. I can help find you one. I don't know what state you're in. I do know a few here in New York, not a lot. Otherwise, call your local bar association. They can help you track somebody down that'll help you. Sigma, hey Rex. Thanks for the info. I just went from 100% disabled to 50% because of the IME. So now my payments went down, was getting 6, now I'm getting 3. My paralegal says we won't hit court until a year. I don't know what that means, that you won't hit court until a year. Something doesn't sound right there. If you're in the middle of your temporary disability time, you should be in court, Well, she's probably saying you won't hit court until a year for permanency. But if you're looking to settle the case, there's a lot of factors here I would need to know. She's probably, or he, I'm sorry to be, if that's sexist. My shoe just fell off. They're probably talking about permanent disability. It usually takes a year to get to that level. So that's probably what they're referring to there. But settlement can come at any time. If you're ready to be done with this and you want to start wrapping it up, talk to your lawyer, then that might be the type of thing that they can get rolling on now. Ms. B is back. The adjuster hired a third-party company. A third-party company nurse, and without my consent, they called my doctors and said they would do my paperwork on my behalf and requested them to add them. I don't know what state you're in. Mike J, hey Rex, here in New York. Just completed my SLU examination with the IME. What's next? And is this case coming to an end? Well, if you went for an IME and he did give you an SLU assessment and he assessed all your body parts, the only other thing I would need to know is, has your doctor done the same thing? Sometimes the insurance company doctor will give his opinion first, sometimes not. But it sounds like you're in the twilight of your case. You're in the sunset stages of your case. You should be slowly reaching a conclusion soon, and that's good. I hope you get a favorable outcome, and I hope that things go your way. I hope the IME gave you um, a good assessment of schedule loss. Folks, as usual, if you have any questions, I'm sorry, it's been a long day. If you like what you're hearing, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you have questions, feel free to post them. I see the questions are coming in over there too on the gram. I'm going to get to those in 1 second. Blue Star just hit a good question here. Can you file for Social Security Disability, SSD, if you're out on comp, or do you have to be fired? If you are on Social Security Disability, you can file. I'm sorry, if you're on workers' comp, you can file for Social Security Disability, and you should. You need to be out of work at least 6 months before you do so. There are other criteria. You need to have enough credits of work over a number of years to qualify for Social Security Disability. But you should, and you should apply for it if you fall into the criteria that would get you those benefits. So yes, if you are out on comp, you can apply for Social Security Disability. Dirty money. My new adjuster called me acting like my best friend and then gave me a lowball offer. There you have it. There you have it. I can't begin to tell you how many times clients will come to me 3 or 6 months into their case and they're like, you wouldn't believe. It's almost like it's a different person. She was so nice. And next thing you know, I'm getting shafted here. That's how it is. They smile to your face. Remember that song? Most of you guys, I'm not even old enough to know that song. I just know it. They smile in your face, the backstabbers. Pixie Pixel, Pixel Pixie. I don't understand anything. I was hurt on the job. I didn't even realize that the DOL owed me money. I wanted to go back to work. Okay. I need the rest of that question. Pixel Pixie. My buddy Jetwing. Hey, Rex, thumbs up. Thumbs up. Give me the like. Thank you. Thank you, Jetwing. I think, was it you that posted a Let's Go Mets as I was leaving the last live, and I left it up on my screen, and I came into work the next day, and it made me smile that I had a nice big Let's Go Mets that somebody posted for me. M Clean, is it Mr. Clean or is it Don McLean? American Pie. Hello, Rex. Lucky to catch you on live. I wish you good vision. My vision for the future is good. My question, do I have to argue with some surveillance people? I caught them taking pictures of me. Isn't it fun when that happens? It does happen. I always think of the scene from Goodfellas. I'm trying to think of the curse word that De Niro uses. Oh man, when the two guys are sitting in the car, him, and he walks across the street and he knocks on their window. I forget what word he uses, but it's a good scene. But that's what I always think of. And he'd say, hey, let's go for a ride. Like he knows they're following and just let's go. But I wouldn't argue with him. I wouldn't. What's it going to get you? It's going to get you to an argument. You can let them know, hey, how you doing? I see you over there. That's all. It's enough to that they know that you know. I know that you know that they know that they're following you. And all they're going to wind up doing is, since you now you put a mark on them, you know the car, you know the face, they're just going to send a different investigator. Usually when you are surveilled, this might be something to keep in mind. When surveillance is put on you, workers' comp surveillance, it's not always just one guy in one car. I've seen investigators use multiple cars, different cars, and multiple investigators. They take turns just to kind of shake it up a little bit and keep you on your toes. A lot of times when we take testimony from investigators, we're taking testimony from 2 or 3 different investigators on one particular case, not just one investigator. And when it is one investigator, or even if it's multiple, they'll tell us that if I ask, they use different cars. So we have heard that. Be careful. Frank Cesario. I went to high school with Frank Cesario. Is that you? Talk to my lawyer. That's exactly it. Talk to my lawyer. Like I said before, my mother always makes that joke when she's on the phone with people and she's not having a good conversation. She'll say, "You know what? I got to go. Talk to my lawyer." Um, I'm her lawyer. Great. Okay. McLean, M. Clean. How long it takes to wait for approval hearing of my settlement, Section 32? That's a good question. And you know what? I'm going to give you a real-time response. Let's see. Do we have any Section 32 hearings today? We had one yesterday. Bear with me, folks. I'm going to tell you how long that took. This is the top-notch service that I provide my clients when they come in and see me. When they sign their Section 32 papers, I oftentimes will do just this. I will find a Section 32 that happened that day, Section 32 hearing, and then I'll go back and look at when the papers were submitted. It's not, it could be. So we had a hearing yesterday on papers that were submitted on November 13th. That took 3 months. That seems high. That's a little bit on the higher side. They're usually coming in a little bit quicker than that, but the papers are signed. Once the papers are signed by all parties, they're sent to the board. The board does their own internal review. Their Section 32 department reviews the documents, make sure that they're up to standards and that there's no issues or man. Anyway, they make sure that your 32 papers are good to go, and then they schedule you for a hearing. Usually it takes 8 weeks, but again, you just saw here, this one took a little longer. So just keep on it. Yeah, it's hard to give a real hard and fast answer. I think that one was a little longer than normal. Sometimes it's six weeks. Sometimes, like you saw here, it could be 3 months, 2-3 months. So there's really no set answer. It's a number of weeks. How about that? My speakers are. I hope that noise wasn't coming through. Frederick Simmons. Hello, Rex. I'm waiting on the judge to make her final report. My case has been ongoing since November of 2022. I fell off a locomotive, which knocked me out, had a concussion, neck and shoulder injury. That is sounding like, is that a federal case? Usually railroad employees are federal. Hi, Rex. This is Dave from Florida, but it's not really Dave. It's D from Florida. I made my settlement on the 29th, but then my lord came back and said Medicare wants too much money, so the other ones just want to pay indemnity. Yes. So D, Florida insurance company wants to pay my medical. What should I do? They're talking about an indemnity-only settlement. Now, I don't handle Florida workers' compensation cases. I don't know the law in Florida, but it sounds like the indemnity-only kind of happens all over the place. If you are Medicare eligible and you have to get a Medicare set-aside, a formal Medicare set-aside, you have to get Medicare approval to settle your case. They have to tell you how much money should be set aside. If that number is too high, they're not going to just add it on top. If you're settling your case for $100,000 and the Medicare set-aside comes back at $120,000, the insurance company is not going to say, oh, you know what, we'll give you $220,000. It doesn't work like that. Rather, what they're going to say is, we'll give you $70,000, but we'll leave your medical open. So if you need treatment, you can go treat. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And that's how they avoid costly and large Medicare set-asides. At least that's how it is here in New York. And it sounds like it might be the same in Florida. If you have questions, if you're in Florida, like I said before, we don't have attorneys in every state, but we do work with lawyers in many different states. And we have some very excellent attorneys in Florida. If you need help, please let me know. I can always help you guys out. Jesus is King. Hi, Rex. My fall was on 7/23. How long can a case go in California? I don't know. Like I said, I only do New York. I only know New York. But if you need help with your California case, give me a call. We have a couple attorneys out there that are fantastic people that are, they've given so many of our clients such good help, and I could set you up with a phone call. My number here is 212-406-8989. Jetwing, I'd love to ask your opinion on an offer I recently received. Give me a call. Right now the phones are off. It's after 5. The phones get shut off. But tomorrow we're around 212-406-8989. New York workers' compensation question. What if I can't stop smoking for surgery? Then you're going to get lung cancer. I don't, it sounds like your doctor has put that requirement on you that he's not going to do surgery unless you stop smoking. So you need to stop smoking and you don't want to. If you're saying that's way of you is if that's your way of saying you're not going to have or don't want surgery, then just say it. But you should stop smoking. I did, and it was the best thing I ever did. Horrible, disgusting habit. You stink. Your clothes stink. Fingers stink. No one wants to talk to you and hang out with you because you smell. You're always running outside. You're smoking those dirty things, and you stink. So, Ida, you stink. Quit smoking. Yeah, I'm getting thumbs up on Instagram because you stink. Everyone stinks. No, it's so bad for you. The machine. Catherine, are you giving me dirty looks? You stink, Catherine. I'm telling everyone to stop smoking. Shh. Sometimes I dislike her. Oh. Hi, Rex. When you have two cases, workers' comp and a third party, how many checks? Well, okay. So how many checks do you get when you settle? It depends on how your cases are settled. Sometimes you settle the compensation first, you get a check there. Then you settle your third party, you get a check there. Sometimes you settle your third party and you get a comp at the afterwards. So it could be two checks one way or the other. Sometimes you settle your third party and your compensation money stops for either forever or for a long period of time or for a short period of time. Sometimes we enter into the term global settlement is interchangeable. It's used in a lot of different ways, but in this scenario, we enter into global settlements. Insurance companies are oftentimes entitled to lien recoveries, money they've paid out in your workers' compensation case, whether it's to you, your doctor, or both. They're entitled to get a recovery of that money, and they get it from your third party case. And when your third party is getting ready to settle, sometimes we negotiate a reduced lien or eliminate the lien and kick you fresh money. There's a lot of different ways of doing this, but we do a global settlement of your comp, your third party, and everything, and get it all wrapped up that way. So the answer to your question is it could be a whole bunch of checks. That could be one big check. Nice Porsche. The GT3, it's a nice Porsche. Mr. Vic, Mr. Rex, what happens when someone has a new tear? I hope you're saying tear and not tears. And re-tears to a surgical repaired shoulder through no fault of their own. Thank you for spreading knowledge. Good question. Okay, so a new tear, is your new tear, the result of, there we go. Sorry, I'm playing with my baseball glove while we're chatting. Is the new tear the result of a new accident? Did it just get worse on its own? Is it an exacerbation of an old accident? That's really question number one. There's nothing wrong with injuring the same body part twice. You can have two specific independent compensable accidents to the same body part, whether it's a shoulder or a back or what. Fault is never an issue with workers' compensation. If an injury just progressively worsens on its own, and that case has not been closed with a Section 32, you generally can reopen and pursue additional benefits, whether it's medical benefits, financial benefits, money, both. So, you're not out of luck here. If you have any questions, give me a call, 212-406-8989. I haven't gotten to it today, but that one there was a gold star question because it does come up a lot. All right. Going to take a few more, folks. Where on earth? Guys, I was ready to wrap it up with 2 or 3 more questions, and I just refreshed, and I got like 7,000 more questions. Oh, Lord, Lord. All right, let me skim some of these. Mojo, do adjusters try to block attorneys and give a client an offer that's more than if they had a lawyer and will have to pay the 20% process settlement offer? And I've not seen. Yeah, listen, asking a question like, yes, I'm sure it's happened. But usually they're looking to save themselves money, not you. So, federal agent, FBI. I had a good friend who was an FBI agent, retired now, but fantastic. I know a couple of FBI agents, fantastic dudes. It's one of those jobs I always wanted. If I can go back and do it all over, I would more strongly consider that because that's so badass. Do I work with law enforcement officers? Not really. Here in New York, NYPD have their own system. Federally, I don't do federal workers' compensation, so I do not. If you have a question, give me a call. I might be able to help track somebody down that can help you out, though. So we do know some federal compsters out there who can help you. Black Rose says it. When injured and going through the system, trust no one. Get a lawyer. The lawyer is legally obligated to have your interest in mind before their own. So you could trust your lawyer because they would have to screw themselves before they screwed you. Mojo, can a client go to work and visit while on workers' comp to see coworkers, bosses? Yeah, why not? You're not working. If you're going to stop in, if you're out on comp and you can't work and you're disabled and you decide to go have lunch with your homie who works at your job and you go meet him for lunch, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't do it to create conflict. Be careful, be smart about it, but there's nothing wrong with that. So Sigma, I see a lot of your questions. Give me a call tomorrow. Give me a call tomorrow, and we'll go over it. The mechanic. Why do I keep calling the mechanic? The machine. I never had a cup of coffee in my lawyer's office before. Considering changing. You want to change because we serve coffee? Most people don't take us up on the coffee offer when we offer it. It's actually I thought we put the machine in. We got the water cooler machine. Once in a while, we'll get a request for water. I think we make a cup of coffee for a client once every 6 months. No one ever takes us up on the coffee offer. Trump's right ear is saying, "Holy moly!" What's the rest of his question? Oh, he's following Ms. B. What state, Ms. B? Yeah, ask me what state. Jay Leah, thank you. Call you tomorrow. New York comp is a bit confusing. She says, no, you're wrong. New York State comp is a lot confusing. So you are correct. Jay Leah, just Andy says, Jay Leah, you just need a lawyer. I'm not going to say you're wrong about that. Zalus, hi, hope all is well. Yes, all is well. All right. Hi, Rex. I still suffer from rotator cuff tears 18 since August 23rd. Can I go for a second opinion? Even I signed my Section 32. Who will pay my expenses? If you signed your Section 32 and has not been approved, technically you still can. You want to do things in good faith here. If it's been approved by the judge, there's a 10-day waiting period after a Section 32 is approved in New York State. You have 10 days to withdraw, reconsider, change your mind, back out, however you want to phrase it. So it really depends on where you are with that Section 32. Talk to your lawyer. There she is. Miss B says, I'm in Louisiana. And I was fearful that you were going to name a state that I don't know an attorney. And Louisiana, Louisiana is like the Wild West. It goes with your picture, which is actually fun. In law school, you go through all these cases and you learn all this great stuff. And there was 2 states that you would get decisions out of that always like fried my brain, and it was West Virginia and Louisiana. The laws there, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a simple workers' comp guy, so sometimes that's just me. But I don't know, Miss B. To go back to your question and get serious, I don't know any attorneys in Louisiana. My suggestion: call your local bar association. Google your county bars. If you're in Jones County Bar Association, Louisiana. Call them up. Most bar associations have like a hotline type of number. Hey, I had this case or that case. I have a workers' compensation case. Is there anybody that you could recommend in my area? They usually give you a list of names. You call them up, find somebody you're comfortable with, and get your help. Yes, you're Starling Marte's cousin. I love it. There it is. Mojo. I knew I could rely on you for a song reference, Mr. Mojo Rising. The OJs, the backstabbers, smiling in your face. And they came out in 19. I should do my DJ voice. Coming at you, 1972 classic, the OJs. I came out in 1979, so I was a few years ahead. Just Angie nailed it too. I got to quit this comp thing and go into 70s DJing. So this is one of the questions. I answered this question earlier today in the comments on another video. The drones. So, are they going to use drones for surveillance? Listen, I don't know the specific law on the use of drones for surveillance. Generally speaking, if it is in public, out in the open, in public, it's fair game. So, if they can take a picture of something you're doing that you shouldn't be doing with a drone, I'm pretty certain it's not good. Justin Fisher, I see. Now, we're going to get serious here. Double amputee recently from being electrocuted at work. Employer had no insurance, is saying I'm an independent contractor. I know I'm not. What state are you in, Justin? Number one, and do you have a lawyer? Number two, because you need one. A case like this, especially electricians, we see this a lot with the Verizons, the Spectrums, the cable provider, the internet providers. Whether or not they're employees of the company, the bigger company, the Spectrum. Excuse me. What are all the other ones? Whether they're the employee of a subcontractor, and these companies have like sometimes 5 or 6 different layers of companies in between to shield liability. And what we do, we've handled a bunch of these cases with some really significant injuries. It's crazy. Whenever we see these cases come in, it's almost always a really bad injury. Falls off of ladders, falls off of roofs. It's never like the guy who just kind of broke his finger. So I'm sorry, and that's horrible. What state are you in? What company are we talking about? Independent contractor. So they're going to argue you're an independent contractor. Here in New York, it comes down to the issues of direction and control. Does the alleged employer have direction and control over you as an employee? Are you free to take work, not take work, or do you have to listen to a boss who tells you what to do? Does he direct your work? Does he control your work? When we're talking electricians, do they provide the tools, the ladders, the trucks, the materials, or do you get that stuff on your own and use your own tools? When it comes to tools, hand tools, just because somebody doesn't provide tools, if they're hand tools, a lot of people have their own hand tools that they like to use, whether they're employees or independent contractors. We're talking about the bigger things, the ladders, the spoolers, things like that. Give me a call, Justin. There's a lot of questions there. If you don't have an attorney, I'd love to get some information to see what direction to point you. 212-406-8989. A terrible injury. I'm sorry, my friend. All right, folks. I gotta sneeze. Sorry. It's cold season here in New York. Oh. Sai, cut that out of the video. We don't need to see me blowing my nose. Richie Chop. My mother didn't raise no quitter. I like that. My mother didn't. Folks, with that, Passport Shogun is saying, well, first he says that my channel has helped them out a lot. Thank you. And that's what we're here for. Listen, I try to help you guys and maybe give you some of my terrible humor, make you laugh a little bit while also giving you information that, frankly, is needed for people who are out on workers' compensation. And like Passport Shogun says, please hit the like button. If you like what you're hearing, please hit the like button. If you really like it, subscribe. If you really, really like it, I don't know. Hi, Rex. Chris Ashley has a question. When is a third party added to the case? I heard you say third party a few times. Good question. Sometimes, folks, I run away with a discussion, a chat, a topic, and I fail to give the definitions and keep you guys updated on what the hell I'm talking about. And asking me a question like this brings me back down to ground level here. Third party. What is a third party case? A third party case is a lawsuit. That's your personal injury lawsuit, your bodily injury lawsuit, your third party case. Why is it called a third party case as it pertains to a workers' compensation case? You are the first party. Your employer is the second party. You and your employer are the first two parties. You can't sue your employer. You can't sue a coworker. You can't sue anybody unless they are a disinterested third party. You can sue a third party for your accident. So if your boss is responsible and was fully negligent and caused your injury, you can't sue your boss. If your boss tells you to go down the basement of the warehouse and you fall down a flight of stairs because the stairs are broken, if he owns that building, generally you can't sue. Generally, don't. But if there's a third party who's responsible for your injury, you can potentially sue a third party. So it opens up the door to a potential lawsuit. So if your company rents the building, and the building is owned and maintained by a real estate management company, and they fail to fix the steps or provide good lighting, and you fall down the steps, you could potentially sue that company. That's a third party case. We see it with drivers, people who do a lot of driving for a living, truck drivers. My favorite PC Richard delivery guy is driving to go make a delivery, and a guy runs a red light. That guy's a third party. He's not a coworker. He's not your supervisor, your boss, your company. It's somebody who we don't even know about, who has run a red light, and their negligence has caused an injury. And that is a third party lawsuit. Hope that clarifies things. A couple more. Man, you guys are flowing with questions. I'm scrolling through the questions to just pluck out a couple of good ones before I have to call it quits, because I am pooped. Do you have cases against Amazon? If so, are you having a hard time dealing with them? Yes, and yes, and yes, and yes, and yes. Amazon is a little tough. We do have cases against them. We have a bunch of them. It's not Amazon so much as the insurance company you're dealing with, but Amazon does. I'm pretty sure they have a say in the process because they are such a large company. Marte's given the same love that I have to give for my buddy Justin Fisher. Man, I'm here for you if you have any questions. Okay. Sigh is keeping in my nose blowing. Sorry, folks, you have to deal with that. All right. Folks, it's been an hour. I am pooped. It's 5:30 here in New York. It's cold out. I want to get home. I think it's taco night. But if you have questions, please post questions. I try to get to the comments in the on YouTube as much as possible. I know you guys have so many great questions in the comments. I just can't keep up, but I'm going to do my best. If you have any serious questions about your cases, give me a call here, 212-406-8989. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You guys are doing a great job. You're making me so happy that I feel like I'm making a difference and I'm helping people. I get more and more comments every week from people saying, I appreciate it. And that's really what we're here to do. I'm happy that I'm helping, and that's what I want to do with myself. Geraldine has a bunch of questions. Geraldine, do me a favor. Call me tomorrow. Geraldine, I want to call me tomorrow. Was it Leah? Leah is going to call me tomorrow. 212-406-8989. As you know, I am Rex Sikofsky. I am here to help. I thank everybody for your commitment, your questions, your comments, everything you provided. We're going to be back next week. We do have I think we're going to do a 4:30 again next week. What do you say, Cy? Take away the tissues and schedule a 4:30. I have 2 hearings. This should be quick. Let's do a 4:30. Otherwise, worst case scenario, we could do next Thursday. So next Wednesday or next Thursday, we could probably do next Thursday at 4. What would you people prefer? Wednesday at 4:30 or Thursday at 4? And okay, we'll figure it out. Sai's going to post the date and the time. And there's so many good questions. I'm sorry, Eastern time. I'm sorry I couldn't answer all the questions today, but keep them coming. And I'm gonna do everything I can to get to all your questions. I'll get to them next week. Get in there early and post your questions. As you see, I get to the snowball really moves down the hill quick. So the first ones come in, they dribble in, and then all of a sudden they explode. So if you get in early, better shot of me getting to your questions. McClane comes from Bruce Willis, named Die Hard. Work hard. Yes. John McClane. Awesome. Great movie. Great movies. Is it a Christmas movie? I don't know. All right, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you for joining. Thanks for all the great questions, and we'll see you next week. As always, Rex Sikofsky, 212-406-8989, and we'll talk soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.